welcome to my channel. Answer by Neelam Sachan or मैं हूँ Neelam. This is Neelam. Hi. Today we are going to test and know all about brush pens. So there are many companies of the brush pens that you can find online, offline, at your stationery or the art store. So we are going to test just a few of them that I have. So first of them is the Little Artist, and there is DOMS, there is CAMLIN. I will buy a few more later maybe, and I'll test them and show the results to you and share the results with you. So we are going to do a few basic tests on how to use the brush pens. We all know that brush pens are used widely for the modern calligraphy, the brush pen lettering, the bouncy lettering and all that. But apart from that, you can also use them for the painting, the coloring, and a few more things. Even if you are doing calligraphy, you can mix and match the colors, which brush pens are better in which kind of medium, what paper and all that. We are going to test a little bit of that. So first we are going to test the dry on dry color mixing. Like we'll be doing one color here and one color here. We'll try to see if they are mixing well or not. Second, we will try to mix those colors and merge them using a wet brush. So which one is better with which results, and then we will try to mix these colors on the wet surface. We will try to put the colors on the wet surface directly using the brush pens, and then we will try to use them as watercolors by rubbing them on the plastic sheet and then lift it up with a brush like the watercolors that we usually do, and then we'll try to put it on and then see how the mixing and merging is going on, which colors are better, which are mixing better, which are not mixing. So we'll see all those things over the next section, and I am sure we will be including a little bit of calligraphy aspect also, which is better for the brush pen lettering, which is okay for the brush pen lettering. So we'll see that in the next section. Stay with me. Brush pens here from the DOMS, that is very soft. I have two brush pens here from CAMLIN, which are again very soft, but DOMS still feels to be a little better in comparison. And then I have this Little Artist set here. These are the brush pens that I have at the moment. Later, if I buy more, I will review them as well. So let's start with what all can be done using the brush pens, and let's start trying. First of all, we need to see if our brush pens are merging well or not. For that purpose, I am going to draw a leaf or a petal, you can say. So I'm going to do that 3 times so that we can compare the mixing of the colors. So first I am going to go with the CAMLIN brush pen. So this is the magenta color, and here I have the burnt sienna brown. So let's see, first we are trying if they mix and merge well or not, which are better in comparison. Out of these 3, I know there are a lot of companies which are very good, but today we are testing the reasonable price range here, which is like, these are 2 pocket friendly. So let's see if they mix well or they do not. So as you can see, the number of times I run my brush pen over, it keeps getting darker, and the mixing is not very good. You can see actually where the pink is ending and where the brown is ending, where they're overlapping. So no, not mixing, at least not without the water. We will test with the water again later. So this is, now I'm going with the DOMS. I'm using a light pink here. This is more like a fluorescent pink. Taking the magenta here. Let's see if this mixes well or not. Now I can see a little bit of blotting, but I don't see them mixing that well. And if I go over one more time, okay, this mixing is there. You can go with the light and dark of the same color. We will test that. So this is DOMS, definitely not mixing. Let's try it out with the Little Artist brush pens. So the pink here this time is the light pink. So I'm losing the fray edges this side so that we have properly mixed lines. Is this mixing? Not too well, but I can definitely not see a lot of different lines here of the overlapping I saw here in the CAMLIN. So let me mark it here. This is CAMLIN, this is DOMS, this is Little Artist. So these three are definitely not mixing that well, but if we were to compare, this is still going better. Now I would like to see if they mix, if we apply a little bit of water to them. So I'm gonna try that using my water brush pens here. These are the water brush pens. I'm going to use them to try if they mix well with the water. If we are able to merge these two colors here using the water. No, CAMLIN is fixed at its place. I don't see it moving that much. Let me try it one more time. Maybe it'll do something, but no, there's nothing much that is happening. Now let's try with the DOMS here. Now after drying, nothing is happening here also. Let's try the Little Artist. Oh wow, I can definitely see some bleeding of the browns over the pink. So if you were to use for the shading, I would suggest Little Artist. But if you want some distinct lines and numerous shades, then definitely you can go for the CAMLIN and DOMS. But this is definitely mixing better. If we were to compare with these three, between these three, this is mixing well. So mixing, this is number 1. I'll go with this number 2, and I'll go with number 3 here in terms of the mixing. Now if we were to test it on the wet surface, like if we were to use the the brush pens as the watercolors, because they may work like that. Let's try it out on the wet surface here. On wet surface, let's try. So first I'm going to go with the CAMLIN. So I need 3 leaves here, and I'm going to use exactly the same colors that we use. So I need to see the flow of the colors that's happening on the wet, because I mixed them after they dried. So after drying, Little Artist is still doing better than the others. Let's see how they perform on the wet surface. So I am going to wet this area here with the water. Okay, this petal is completely wet. So I'll try the same 2 colors that we did earlier. Magenta from this side. Wow, see how well it's spreading as of now, just like the watercolors. And I'm using it the same way, the same strokes that I put earlier on the dry paper. And the brown from this side. Wow, this is amazing. You see the mixing is so good on the wet surface. Let's do it on the next one. Okay, I keep losing things. I'm so sorry. Okay, let's at the next petal or the leaf, you can say. Now trying out the domes, the same two colors that I picked up earlier. So the lighter shade from this side. Okay, this is also mixing really well and spreading through the water, but not as good as this CAMLIN one. But the pink color is fabulous here. So it looks more like the watercolor that we do. So this is also good, this is also too good, but this spread more faster because I think it has more pigment or something, or it has more fluidity, you can say. But this is more pigment rich, so it's spread a lot. This is a little lighter on the pigment side, but it is very soft. I'll show you the writing effects also. There are a lot of ways how you can use the brush pen apart from the calligraphy. So I'm going to use the same Little Artist brush pen, the same shades that we used earlier. Now this is definitely not mixing. Not mixing that well. See, if we did it on the wet surface, it is not mixing, but when we tried it with the wet brush over the color, it mixed better. But these two colors are just the opposite of what they did here. They are performing the opposite here. So in this order, again, this is CAMLIN, this is DOMS, and this is Little Artist. I will go with definitely DOMS as number 1, CAMLIN number 2, and CAMLIN number 3 if I were to do the wet surface thing with the brush pens. And if I have to get the watercolor effect on my brush pens, with my brush pens, so I'll definitely go with this. And if I've already done something and if I want to mix it, I'll go with the Little Artist thing. Now let's try out the third thing, how you can do the brush pen coloring. That we do by rubbing the colors on the plastic sheet, and we'll lift it with the brush and then put here. You can use the water brush pens like watercolors. So let's try the watercolor effect. I'm going to make 3 petals again. So this is number 1, this is number 2. Please don't mind the shape of the petals. This is just for the random testing. I am trying to see if the overlapping is good, if it's working better on the dry surface or on the wet surface or with the wet brush, or is it possible to work with them like the watercolors? If you don't have the watercolors, you may want to use them. So first I am going with the CAMLIN. So I am going to rub my 2 colors here. Here I have this pink, the first color that I used. Then I have this brown. And I'm going to use the same water brush pen here. See, it mixes so well. So well. So I'll put it here. And then I need something to clean this with. I'm so sorry, Now the brown color. Wow, that mixed so well, just like the watercolor. So this is something that I would definitely like to go with. I will talk about all the shades that are available with this set, but this is really very good if you want to do it like the watercolors. Now going with the DOMs, the lighter peachish pink color that it has, and the magenta here, the bright magenta. So let's pick up the first. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to clean it. So, again. So I did the lighter peachish pink on this side. And now you should pick this up. You see, the color kind of stopped here, making sharp lines. I have to mix it, but with the CAMLIN, see, it went all over. So I'm gonna have to lift it off a little bit. Sorry, it's spread, but we are testing it. So I'm gonna put it. This CAMLIN one, it's spread on its own. Here I had to do that merger. It was still wet. I'm using the same brush, same technique, but it happened. Now, little artist, let's check this one out. The pink color that I used, the funny sound it's creating, and the brown color that I used. Let's see how this goes. First, let's pick up the pink. Get it halfway. Picking up the brown here. Okay, it mixed well, but I would say it is somewhere in between the CAMLIN and DOMs. So if you want to use the brush pencil with this technique, like the watercolors, I think what I felt while doing it, I will go with this as number 1. The CAMLIN performed the best, and this was 2, or we can give this 2 and this 3. So this was somewhere. This is still better merging. Even after drying up, this looks better, but this is also good, but I had to do it with the brush. So this is about, if you want to do some painting or coloring of something. I will be making a card after this, utilizing probably the watercolor effect with the CAMLIN one, because at one it gives me a lot of color options. The shades there definitely are very nice. Or I can do some part with the DOMs also, but little artist, I'm not sure as of now. So I'll do one card with this one. That card could be for the new year. So I'm gonna make a Happy New Year card here after the trials. So I'll do this definitely, but not these, no. Now let's try. Now let's test out how will these brush pens perform when we want to do the calligraphy. So for the mixing effect, you have seen this can be used for the coloring, and even if you want to do the mixed color calligraphy. Now let's test how well do they write. So I'm going to pick first the CAMLIN in the same order as we did earlier. Second is the DOMs, and third will be the little artist. These are the 3 companies that I have as of now. Later maybe I'll try something more, as I said earlier. So let's try with the brush pen calligraphy. So first is the CAMLIN, of course. So let's try the Overton. Oh wow, it was so smooth. I really liked it. So I can write my N here. This was really nice, really smooth, but I feel that you have to get used to of these brush pens, and you have to use it a lot to open up the bristles, because initially they are very stiff and it takes time to loosen them up, and then they write really well. Now I'm writing the same N with the DOMs here. So let's do the overtone. This is definitely softer than that, and you could have not heard this sound that it was coming. It was like a wee, because the bristles are a little harder. This DOMS is really soft, and you can see that here in the stroke. I went all over, and this was really smooth. Now let's try out the little artist one. Again, doing the same N. You can hear the sound, just hear it. Really nice. So you can hear. I know brush pen calligraphy, so I was able to write, but you can see the thickness of these strokes is more or less similar to CAMLIN and the DOMS, but little artist brush fine side, I was using the fine side. It has dual tip. It has a thick side also. Let's try it out. I don't like the thick side here because one, it doesn't give me a lot of variation, but let's try maybe a little bit for you. No, I definitely did not enjoy this, and there is not so much of the variation of the thick and the thin strokes here, the down and the up strokes. We can see the variation here, here, but not with the thick side of the little artist. So if I had to do the calligraphy, I'll definitely go with CAMLIN. So sorry, DOMS. So DOMS is my first choice here. CAMLIN will be my second choice, and little artist, if you're stuck with it for calligraphy, yes, please go ahead with it, but with the fine tip side. So this is going to be number 3. So this is about what all you can do with the brush pens and which one is good with which effect, which type of surface, wet or dry or overlapping or wet brush or for calligraphy. Now these effects you can apply here as also. If you are doing calligraphy like this, so you know the little artist or these colors will do better if you want to overlap some other color if you're doing the calligraphy, and if you want to do a lighter color calligraphy and then add the darker shade or something and then mix it with the wet brush, you know which ones to go with. So always prepare a tester like this, I would say, and then do the works with what you like. No brush pen is good, no brush pen is bad. They're all meant for some or the other purpose. You just have to find which one is good for which type of work. I have drawn 3 flowers. The center is a little out. I have this more gap here, but I am going a little lazy, so please excuse me for this. I did not want to do it again. I'll probably cut this side, the extra side, or I'll leave it like that. We'll see it later. Now, as we saw, with the watercolor effect, which performed the best, the CAMLIN. So I'm going to pick up the colors from CAMLIN and then start with the card here. I'm doing it on the back side of the tester only just to save the paper, and we paste it most of the times. So because recording all this, it's a little difficult task looking at the camera and talking all the time, looking in the void and talking. Hats off to the people who do it so well. And a big thank you to the YouTubers who make our life so happening, and I personally learn a lot. So let's see. Saw that the results of the CAMLIN DOMS and little artists came in a lot different at different places with the different mediums, and on the wet surfaces, dry and dry mixing, wet brush mixing. The results were totally different. Some places DOMS was reacting better, and some places CAMLIN took over, and a few places little artist was better. So we saw all that. And for the calligraphy aspect, I would seriously recommend the DOMS first and the CAMLIN second, because CAMLIN's bristles are a little stiff and harder when you're writing. They make that harsh sound, kind of a sound, which is not very pleasant to the ears. But over the time as you're using, they get softer, and then you get the better results. So as a beginner, if you are investing for a new brush pen set, I would say go for DOMS, and then when you have the CAMLIN, use it first for the coloring or anything else, and then start writing with them when the bristles are softer. So that's one recommendation. Now let's talk about the pricing and which ones to buy or which ones to start with. So I have this little artist brush pen set that has 12 bright color. Actually they are too bright for me, and I don't like the shades that it has, but definitely it offers a dual tip, that is a thick part and a fine marker tip. They're very good for coloring purpose. For calligraphy, only the fine tip works, as we have seen in the video. And this set of 12 colors cost around just 150 or so. You can check the current prices in the market, but they're okay for a beginner level, or if you are just starting with the brush pens, if you want to get your hands used to, you can buy, but we have other options. So let's check out the other options. The next set that I have is the DOMS here, which offers 14 shades. 14 pretty shades. I still do not like those too bright colors. Maybe it's my personal choice, but for children this is superb. So one, they are very soft. They are very good for calligraphy. They are very good for coloring. The pigment is really good, and I don't know about the life yet, that how much they write, but I've been using them for like 3-4 months, and I use kind of on off, but they are still they seem like very good. And it has 2 bonus colors, silver and golden, and this also costs about 175 or 200. You can check online, or you can check at the nearest store or that you have. So you are getting 14 shades, and here you are getting dual tip 12 shades. So totally up to you. If I were to buy, I will buy this one only, DOMS. I will not go for the little artist one. So as a beginner, totally trust me, this is the one for you. Now coming on to the next affordable and pocket friendly brush pens is the CAMLIN 24 shades. Here I have these 24 shades, and I really love all those dusty colors that it offers. The pigment is really rich. I just told you that the bristles are a little stiff at the starting, but as you go by with the time, they start to soften up a little bit. So you can definitely go for this. It offers a wide range of the fluorescent colors, the neon colors, there's pink, orange, the yellow, and all the neons, dusty, and all the basic colors as well. So if you like coloring a lot in your drawing books or coloring books, I will say go for the CAMLIN one. This is also not very expensive. This is like 350 or something. You can check the price online, or if you want me to search and put the links for you, I can do that from the next videos. I can definitely do that. So my recommendations out of these 3 is definitely DOMS or CAMLIN. You can buy any of these as a beginner, and they're very good. DOMS, hands down. DOMS first, then you can move on to more colors. If you are only into calligraphy, I will say DOMS. There are a lot of other brush pens too, but they are quite expensive. They come into price of about 200 or 300 rupee for one color. So for me it is pretty expensive as of now because I'm not doing calligraphy professionally. So brush pen is really fun to do with. The coloring part, as we have seen, we just made this card here, the Happy New Year card. I think this is pretty good. The effect of the watercolors is there, but I think I overdid this part of the flower. But this new, the year, everything, the leaves and the petals and the flowers, everything has been done with the brush pens. So I will say definitely buy at least one set of brush pens and try either the coloring or the calligraphy. Anyways, you will enjoy it, and whatever you make, please do share with me. You can post your works or share your works with me on my Instagram account. You can directly message. My Instagram account is up there. That is Neelam Sachan Artist, and you can share your work if you have any queries, or if you would like the personalized classes that we talk one-to-one, then you can definitely message me and we can fix the time and we can work on soils. So if you like this video, you like what we are doing here, so please do give it a like and share this video along with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe the channel.